In 1944, amidst the roaring chaos of World War II, two men, once enemies in the sky, found themselves hurtling toward an uncharted destiny. An American pilot and his Japanese adversary, bound by the brutal simplicity of survival, crash-landed on a remote, unfamiliar island. Their hatred for each other transcended the wreckage. Stripped of their planes and armed with raw instincts, they fought tooth and nail amidst the towering jungle. Each blow, each frantic lunge, carried the weight of their nation's battles. But what they couldn't know, what no man could, was that this island held no allegiance to their war. Suddenly, the ground seemed to tremble beneath them. The dense tangled foliage parted, revealing something ancient, something colossal. Out of the shadows it emerged, a giant ape, towering above the trees. Its dark, brooding eyes seemed to pierce through their mortal struggle, silencing their chaos with sheer presence. The combatants froze, their weapons useless against the sheer enormity of what stood before them. This was no ordinary island. This was Skull Island, untamed, untouched, and unforgiving. Almost 3 decades later, in 1973, the world stood at another crossroads. The Vietnam War was drawing to a close, leaving a world fractured and searching for purpose. In this backdrop of uncertainty, Bill Randa, a man consumed by the unseen mysteries of the earth, saw an opportunity. As a senior member of Monarch, a shadowy organization dedicated to uncovering the hidden truths of nature, Randa was relentless. He believed in the whispers of legends, the maps that showed nothing but speculation, and the storms that seemed to guard a single speck of land in the Pacific. For Randa, Skull Island was more than a myth. It was the key to unraveling humanity's place in the natural order. With government funding secured under the guise of scientific exploration, Randa assembled a team. Each member, from trackers to soldiers, brought something unique to this mission, though few understood the true gravity of their. The world was changing, fractured by wars and the weight of its own ambitions. Yet beyond the horizon, past the storms that cloaked its secrets, lay Skull Island, an untouched Eden and a battlefield for the primal forces that ruled it. This expedition wasn't just a journey. It was a reckoning. As the mission takes shape, the expedition team begins to form. Bill Randa recruits a mix of individuals with unique skills, ensuring they are prepared for the challenges of uncharted territory. First is James Conrad, a British tracker and ex-Special Forces operative, hired for his expertise in navigating hostile environments. Conrad, stoic and precise, is intrigued by the mystery surrounding the mission, but remains cautious of Randa's secrecy. To ensure the team's safety, Randa enlists a military escort led by Colonel Preston Packard. Packard is a no-nonsense soldier struggling with the recent end of the Vietnam War. For him, this mission represents a chance to prove his value and regain control in a world that feels increasingly chaotic. Packard's men, a mix of battle-hardened soldiers and fresh recruits, are equally eager for action. Their camaraderie masks the tension of entering unknown territory. Joining them is Mason Weaver, a fearless photojournalist. Weaver suspects there is more to the mission than scientific exploration and hopes to uncover the truth through her lens. Her independent spirit clashes with the military's rigid structure, but she is determined to document the journey. As the team prepares for departure, they receive a briefing about Skull Island. The island is described as a place shrouded in storms and mystery, a region untouched by modern civilization. The briefing hints at dangers ahead but downplays the potential risks. The scene ends with the group boarding helicopters, a sense of anticipation and unease in the air as they embark on their journey into the unknown. The helicopters push through an intense storm surrounding the island, an unrelenting barrier of thunder and lightning that seems almost alive. The storm is treacherous, with violent winds buffeting the aircraft. Each member of the team struggles with a mix of fear and excitement as they finally break through the storm and catch their first glimpse of Skull Island. What lies beyond the storm is breathtaking. The island is a lush, untamed paradise with towering mountains, sprawling jungles, and unique rock formations. It feels otherworldly, untouched by human hands and teeming with life. The team marvels at the beauty, but their awe is short-lived. Randa insists on deploying seismic charges, explosives designed to map the island's subterranean structure. The explosion sends shockwaves across the landscape, disrupting the delicate balance of the ecosystem. The noise awakens something colossal. From the jungle emerges Kong, a massive ape who towers over the trees. His appearance is both majestic and terrifying, a creature of myth come to life. Kong, angered by the disturbance, attacks the helicopters. The military-trained pilots attempt to fight back, but their efforts are futile. Kong swats the helicopters out of the sky with ease, his raw power overwhelming. The scene is chaotic as machines crash into the jungle, leaving trails of fire and destruction. Survivors are scattered across the island, their mission in shambles, and the true danger of Skull Island is revealed. The survivors are split into small groups, each dealing with the immediate aftermath of Kong's attack. Colonel Packard gathers his men and takes stock of their situation. For him, the destruction caused by Kong is an affront to his authority. Packard sees Kong as a direct threat and vows to kill the beast, rallying his remaining soldiers with promises of revenge. Elsewhere, James Conrad and Mason Weaver regroup with a smaller contingent of the team. Unlike Packard, Conrad quickly realizes that survival, not vengeance, must be their priority. They begin navigating the dense jungle, encountering the island's strange and often hostile wildlife. Giant spiders, with legs like bamboo stalks, emerge from the undergrowth, and monstrous birds circle overhead, their cries echoing ominously. Amid the dangers, the group discovers ancient ruins that hint at the island's history. Mason, ever the curious observer, photographs the carvings on the stones, which depict a giant ape battling reptilian creatures. The ruins suggest a deeper connection between Kong and the island's ecosystem, but their meaning remains unclear. The survivors press on, hoping to find the other groups and reach the island's northern shore, where a pre-arranged extraction point awaits. The jungle is both a threat and a marvel, offering glimpses of its beauty amidst the danger. However, the feeling of being watched persists, as though the island itself is alive and aware of their presence. Packard's group continues to push forward, driven by his unrelenting determination to hunt down Kong. Along the way, they encounter evidence of the island's hostility. Gigantic water buffaloes graze peacefully in the marshlands, their size a reminder of the island's strange and ancient ecosystem. However, the serenity is shattered when they are attacked by a ferocious reptilian creature, one of the skull crawlers that lurk beneath the surface. The soldiers fight back, but the encounter leaves them shaken, and some begin questioning Packard's leadership. Despite the dangers, Packard is resolute. He leads his team to the wreckage of a downed helicopter where they retrieve heavy artillery and munitions. He plans to use these weapons to kill Kong, a mission he sees as both vengeance for his fallen men and a way to reassert humanity's dominance. Packard's obsession blinds him to the island's delicate balance. The scene shifts to Conrad and Weaver's group, who are beginning to understand that Kong is not the monster Packard believes him to be. Through their observations and encounters, they piece together the truth. Kong is the island's protector, keeping the deadly skullcrawlers at bay. This revelation sets up a growing conflict between those who see Kong as a threat and those who see him as a guardian, building tension as the groups move closer to a final confrontation. As Conrad and Weaver's group ventures deeper into the island, they encounter Hank Marlowe, the American pilot from the 1944 prologue. Now an older man, Marlowe has spent nearly 3 decades surviving on Skull Island. His survival is largely thanks to the Iwi, a peaceful indigenous tribe that has lived harmoniously with the island's unique ecosystem for generations. The Iwi revere Kong, seeing him not as a threat but as a godlike protector who ensures their safety by keeping the skullcrawlers in check. Marlowe provides invaluable insight into the island's history and ecosystem. He reveals that Kong is the last of his kind, the rest of his family killed by the skullcrawlers. The largest of these creatures, referred to by Marlowe as the Big One, remains dormant underground, but is capable of emerging if the balance of the island is disrupted. Marlowe warns the group that Kong's continued survival is crucial to maintaining peace on Skull Island. As Marlowe guides the group through the jungle, they bond with him, listening to his tales of survival and his respect for the Iwi's way of life. Weaver and Conrad in particular begin to feel a deep sense of awe for Kong and the natural order of the island. However, their growing understanding of the island's fragile balance is contrasted with the looming threat of Packard's vendetta against Kong, setting the stage for an inevitable conflict. While following Marlowe's guidance, the group stumbles upon a scene that stops them in their tracks. Kong, battered and wounded. The giant ape rests near a water source, nursing injuries sustained during a battle with a skullcrawler. This vulnerable side of Kong strikes a chord with Weaver, who cautiously approaches the mighty creature. Despite his size and power, Kong shows a surprising gentleness, as if understanding that Weaver means no harm. Weaver observes Kong up close, noting the sadness and burden in his eyes. She realizes that Kong's role as protector is not just about strength, it is a lonely and unrelenting duty. This moment cements her belief that Kong is not the monster Packard sees him as, but a guardian who ensures the survival of the island and its inhabitants. Meanwhile, Marlowe explains that Kong's wounds are a result of the seismic charges deployed by the expedition. The explosions disturbed the underground layers of the skullcrawlers, forcing them to the surface. This revelation fuels the group's determination to stop Packard before he can further endanger the island and unleash more chaos. The group's bond with Kong deepens as they witness his vulnerability, a stark contrast to his earlier display of power. This emotional turning point strengthens their resolve to protect him, even if it means defying Packard and risking their own lives. The tension between the survivors comes to a head as the groups converge near a river. Packard and his men, armed with the retrieved munitions, prepare an elaborate trap to kill Kong. Conrad, Weaver, and their group arrive just in time to confront Packard, pleading with him to abandon his plan. Conrad argues that Kong is the island's protector and that killing him would unleash the skullcrawlers, putting everyone at risk. Packard, however, is too blinded by his vendetta to listen, dismissing Kong as a monster that must be destroyed. Before the conflict can escalate further, the largest skullcrawler, the Big One, emerges from underground, drawn by the chaos. The creature is massive, far larger and more menacing than any of the others encountered so far. It immediately attacks, forcing everyone to scatter. Packard, refusing to abandon his mission, attempts to detonate explosives to kill both Kong and the Skullcrawler. However, his plan is thwarted when Kong intervenes, smashing through Packard's defenses. As Kong and the Skullcrawler engage in a brutal battle, the survivors scramble to escape the crossfire. The fight is epic, with Kong using his environment as a weapon. The Skullcrawler's relentless attacks push Kong to his limits, but he fights with determination, knowing that the survival of the island depends on him. In a final, dramatic confrontation, Kong delivers a decisive blow, defeating the Skullcrawler and asserting his dominance as the island's true king. With the Skullcrawler defeated, the survivors regroup and make their way to the northern shore, where a rescue team awaits. Kong watches from a distance, his massive silhouette framed against the horizon. Despite his injuries, he stands tall, a symbol of strength and resilience. Weaver and Conrad share a silent moment of gratitude toward Kong, recognizing the sacrifice he made to protect the island. An extremely realistic moment from Kong's own point of view. Marlowe, after decades on Skull Island, finally prepares to return home. His farewell to the Iwi is bittersweet, as they have been his family for so many years. The group boards the rescue ship, their understanding of the world forever changed. They agree to keep the truth about Skull Island a secret, knowing that humanity is not ready to confront the existence of creatures like Kong. Back at Monarch, Randa's findings are buried under layers of secrecy. The organization begins preparations for future missions, hinting at a larger world of ancient creatures waiting to be discovered. The film ends with a sense of awe and mystery. Kong remains on Skull Island, a guardian and a king, standing watch over the untamed wilderness. The survivors leave with a new respect for nature's power and the understanding that not all monsters are meant to be conquered. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth recaps and reviews. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the hidden truths in every story.